7th of April and I welcome you all at the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. Guys, before starting, I would like to tell you that if you want, you can download the explainer notes of this entire session from our Telegram channel. Link for Telegram channel is given in description box. Now, first of all, before starting on, let's see overview of entire newspaper so that we can understand that which articles are actually important in the today's newspaper. Now guys, here the first article, online platform must take down PIB flagged fake news content. We'll see this particular article with respect to the examination. Then pause not pivot, says Das after RBI holds policy rate at 6.5%. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that we have monetary policy committee, and monetary policy committee's aim is to keep inflation within the band of 2 to 6%, within the band of 2 to 6%. In any case, inflation should not go beyond 6%. But guys, we have seen that in the last 1 year, inflation has been a very big problem. And whenever inflation increases, the Reserve Bank of India, in order to reduce the inflation, is going to increase the interest rate, repo rate, or repo rate is that rate at which RBI lends to the commercial banks. Okay, so the RBI has actually kept repo rate at 6.5% in the monetary policy review. This is something just that which has come here. Now guys, you are not required to track every monetary policy committees, that what is the hike that was done and all such kind of things. Okay, then further moving on, after that, coming to the city section. So in city section we have these regional articles, fine, not important for your UPSC examination. Then again the regional politics etc. is being given, so we will directly be moving from here, nothing much important. However, we have already taken that right to health has been given by the Rajasthan government. Now what is this right to health? Under this right to health, no private hospital, even the private hospital, can deny the health care to the people. Okay, then further moving on to the next, then we have this spotlight page, Gehlot's poll prescription. So guys, recently there was a protest in Rajasthan. Then Metro Plus article, Metro Plus page, however, doesn't contains much of academic substance related to for the examination. Then coming to editorial page. Now at editorial page, the first article, a very different conception of Ram Rajya. Briefly we will see this particular article, however not much substance has been given, but still we will take it up. Then guys, Macron, Sunak and an appetite for risk taking. So this article is talking about the protests that are going on the different countries. For example, the France is going for the pension reforms. They have increased the age of retirement from 62 to 64 years. After that, UK is the immigration policy is being criticized. So the article is talking about the internal protest, fine, article 49.3 of the French constitution, which they have used it. Now understand this particular thing guys, that so much deep internal political issues within the countries are not that much important. In international relation, GS paper number 2, I have told you India's relation with some other country, issues related to India's foreign policy, or anything which will have an impact on India, that is important, fine. So every other internal political issue, if it is going on, no need to go there. Then after that, here open justice. Now guys, this article talks about the yesterday already we have taken this particular issue, that Supreme Court has said that every time the government they take down the news. Okay, now what happened, one of a Malayalam news channel was taken down because it was said that it has shown the content which is kind of an anti-national. Now Supreme Court said this particular thing, that you cannot expect that the press will always be aligned with your ideas. Press can be critical, and if press is critical to the government, then that thing should not be seen in a negative light. Fine. Then below article substance subtext. Now this article talk about the visit of the Bhutanese king. Now I will take this particular article guys, and there is one more article on India-Bhutan relationship here on the second page. I will take this article also, so both of them will club here. Then further moving on and coming to the text and the context page. So this article, it talks about representation in India's police force. Okay, so basically what has happened, Tata's basically India Justice report is released by the Tata, and in this particular report they are giving the trend about the policing, how many vacancies are there, whether the positions for scheduled tribes are filled or not, and all such things are given. We'll see briefly what this article is all about. Then why is Japan circumventing sanctions on Russian oil? We'll see this particular article also. Then moving on, this is guys in the limelight article, shows and dramas on the music business, money does not talk, it sings, not relevant article for the examination. Then further moving on, government amends rules regulating online real money. We'll see this particular article for examination as what it is talking about. Then here also there is an important article, government nod for space policy. Now we'll see this article also. India denies China's allegation of unfair treatment of journalists. So guys, what happened? Basically, Indian journalists' visas in China were kept on hold. Why? Because China says that India is not giving a proper treatment to the Chinese journalist in India. This is something that we have said that it is a baseless thing. Then after that, protest at 10,000 points across nation against diluting MG Narega. So this budget, this budget, the money was reduced. So it has been said it is a dilution. Then after that, guys, BJP tough on corruption, nepotism. Now nothing much important is contained in the article. Now here this is an important article. Government releases pre-draft of national curriculum framework for schools. We'll see this particular article for the examination. Then full circle for Odisha IAS officer. Now guys, this particular article can be seen as an example. Okay, we can use this particular article as an example in our ethics paper number 4. Then after that, moving on, Macron tells China Xi to reason with Russia for peace in Ukraine. Okay, so basically we see this particular thing. French president has asked the China that they should convince Russia that Russia should consider the peace options. Okay, Saudi Arabia, Iran reach agreement on joint plan. Now guys, already we have taken this particular issue in much detail. Now we have seen this thing, and I will tell you again also that what has happened when we talk about the Saudi Arabia and Iran. There was a kind of a dispute, political dispute going on between Saudi Arabia and Iran. Okay, and after 2016, even diplomatic relations got completely suspended between Saudi Arabia and Iran. But now, because of the China, the peace deal has been signed between the Saudi Arabia and Iran, and the diplomatic relations are again going to start. In this particular thing, what has happened now? Now, basically, they are going to open up their embassies. They are also going to open up their embassies. Okay. Then further moving on, FTP opens FTP foreign trade policy opens door for some second-hand good imports. Okay. Then after that, guys, custom waves demurrage, interest as glitch spur delays, TTK healthcare. Now corporate trends etc. have been given. Then after that, we have this sports page. So this is guys the overview of entire newspaper, and now let's discuss all the relevant articles that have an importance for our examination one by one in detail. Now, so as I told you in the start, you can download the synoptic notes of this session. Now, so today guys, in every class we start with the GS quotation, which you can use to complement your answers in GS paper number 1, 2, 3 and 4. So today we'll take the quotation from Leo Tolstoy. Leo Tolstoy says that wrong does not cease to be wrong because the majority shares in it. Now understand this particular thing. Whatever the majority or whatever the most of the people are doing in a society, it becomes a standard of, often it becomes the standard of acceptability. Often it becomes a standard that this is the right thing. Why? Because everybody is doing it. But that is not the correct thing, because guys, if we see in the past, we have seen that even many of the immoral acts have been supported by the majority people. Slavery was supported by many majorities. Okay, but it is not right. So wrong does not cease to be wrong. Wrong will be wrong. Okay, wrong does not cease to be wrong because just the majority is supporting it. Fine. So this is the idea. You can use it in GS paper number 4 ethics. Fine. Now moving on and taking the first article. So guys, here what we have done, we have actually clubbed two articles. One article is from page number 1, that is online platform must take down PIB flagged fake news. Another article is I think from page number 10, government amends rules regulating online money gaming. Now why we have clubbed these two articles? Because guys, they are the part of one amendment that government has recently brought. Okay, so let's see this particular article and we'll see this article with respect to the GS paper number 2 as well as GS paper number 3, regulation of social media, regulation of social media. Okay, regulation of social media and online gaming. Now let's start this particular article. So basically guys, what has happened, Now, first of all, a few weeks back, or I'll say that it is been more than the month, that government came out with a proposal that, see, there is a problem of fake news, misinformation, disinformation on social media such as Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Many number of times this social media, this fake news which is circulating on the social media sites, they become potent enough to incite violence, mob lynchings, and all such kind of things. And many number of times people, there is no point where the verification can be done that whether it is fake news or true news. So this is a kind of a very big law and order related problem. So government came out with the proposal that the Press Information Bureau, PIB, will be given a power that PIB will fact check a news, and if PIB finds that a particular news is not true, then the PIB can flag that particular news as fake news, and after that, that news has to be taken down from the social media websites, social media platforms. Okay, that has to be done. This was a proposal. Now, even at that point of a time, people criticized this proposal. They said this thing that by this PIB, Press Information Bureau, which comes under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, it will become a super regulator of the super regulator. Okay, and often it will censor down those news. It will call those news as fake news which are critical of the government. So it was not correct. It was suggested by many of the people. But now, guys, what has happened? Finally, government, the proposal, they have executed it. First of all, how they have executed this particular thing. So basically, guys, you might be knowing, if you are following the newspaper analysis regularly, that already government has come out with the IT rules 2021. IT rules 2021 stands for Information Technology Intermediary Guideline and Digital Media Ethics Code. These rules were notified in 2021. Now what has happened? These rules have been again amended in 2023. Okay, so IT Rules Amendment Act IT Rules Amendment 2023 has executed this particular thing finally. What has come out of this IT Rules Amendment 2023? So social media platforms such as Facebook, etc., and other social media intermediaries, they are required to take down the fake news. What is the fake news? News that is declared as fake by the PIB. Okay, so they have to take it down. Now, some more clarification has also been given by the government. Government is saying this particular thing. See, they basically. Now, first of all, before going in this, I would like to explain you one more concept. So there is the concept of safe harbor. Now, in India, safe harbor provision is contained in Section 79 of IT Act. So what is safe harbor? Safe harbor provision gives immunity. It gives protection to the social media intermediaries that if there is any content which is floating on their website, then these platforms will not be held guilty for that. Okay, so if a content is floating on a website, then these platform players cannot be held responsible for that. Why? Because crores and crores of users are there. What everybody is posting, they cannot regulate it, they cannot control it. So a protection, immunity is given to the social media websites, that is called as the safe harbor. Now, what these rules say? These rules say that, for example, step number 1, PIB has flagged a particular news as fake. Step number 2, social media intermediary need to take down that particular news. If the social media intermediary did not remove that particular news after it has been claimed as fake, then their safe harbor will be lost. Safe harbor will be lost means that the court can take the social media the government can take the social media intermediary to the court, and then they have to justify themselves in the front of a court. So point is that if they want, they can still keep that particular content on their website, on their platform, but then they can be challenged in the court and they have to prove their innocence in the court. So we'll read it also. In the other words, platform will not be required to take down content due to this rule alone, but they will not enjoy the legal immunity that they currently benefit for content posted on their website. This immunity is called as the safe harbor protection. Okay, safe harbor protection. So this is something that has happened, guys, in this particular direction. Moreover, this is also one more change that has come. Okay, so this is the change number 1 that we have seen with respect to the PIB, and this is the change number 2 that has come. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that already I've told you that IT ministries information technology amendment rules 2023 have been brought. Now what they are talking about, see, there are many of the applications where you stake money, where they are making you to play certain games, and in return money is offered. Okay, online gambling type of applications are there. So now they have provided that there are many games which require real money. Okay, so platforms requiring real money gaming, they need to register themselves with a self-regulatory body, and this self-regulatory body will go in the matter and will see that whether a particular game is permissible or not. Now let me take an example. Now suppose there is this let's say there is a poker game, there is an online rummy game that is there. So in online rummy game, online poker game, suppose there is a I start an online rummy game and I am accepting money from you, that you are staking a bet. If you win, you will get the money. If you lose, then you will not get the money. Now these kind of platforms have to take an approval from SRB, that is a self-regulatory body, and this particular body will see that whether this particular game can be allowed, may not be allowed, whether it is permissible, not permissible. And if the game has got a permission, then those particular games will be allowed to operate legally. Okay, and after they have been allowed to operate legally, even if they want to take a deposit, even if they want to accept the money, they are allowed to do that particular thing. Clear? So this is something. Now the video games where money is not involved, okay, then they don't need to approach these self-regulatory bodies. Okay, now there will be 3 self-regulatory bodies that will be notified, very soon. So this is something, guys, that has been provided. Moreover, there is also small one line development that is there. Now these 2 developments that we discussed were from the MeitY, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Now guys, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has also issued the warning to the media platforms that they don't show the advertisement of the gambling platforms. Okay, for example, this dream, this online rummy poker, so advertisement should not be shown. Okay, because these advertisements often have a negative impact on the young people. So this is all about this article. I hope you have understood it, and now we'll move to next article. Government releases pre-draft of National Curriculum Framework for School Education. Okay, now before going in this article, let's first of all understand the utility of this article, and then we'll understand the background of this article, and then we'll go in this article. So this article will see with respect to the GS paper number 2 issues related to education. Okay, now background of this article, guys. See what happened in 2020. Government came out with the National Education Policy, and this National Education Policy had many revolutionary kind of thing. For example, 10+2 system of school education will be replaced with 5+3+3+4 system. Moreover, they also said this particular thing that basically memorization, crude learning, rote memory based learning will be replaced with the critical thinking skills. Okay, vocational teaching and training will be given. Okay, out of the box thinking will be inspired in the students. Okay, so they are ready for the coming century. All these things were provided in National Education Policy 2020. Now guys, to execute the National Education Policy 2020, the syllabus in the school was also to be changed, and it was proposed that we will be coming out with a new syllabus, that is the National Curriculum Framework, NCF. So what is NCF? This will be the new syllabus, new curriculum that is to be brought into the school, National Curriculum Framework. Now what has happened, guys? Now the Ministry of Education, now first of all I'll tell you that for the pre-primary school, okay, there was the curriculum that was provided. Now what has happened, the Ministry of Education has come out with a pre-draft of the National Curriculum Framework for School Education. Pre-draft it. Now see, first is pre-draft, after that there is a draft, and then after the draft there is a final version. Okay, so this is a pre-draft that it has come out with, and it has asked that okay, this draft will be available fine, at the website of the Ministry of Education, and different stakeholders just such as the students, parents, teachers, educator, experts, scholars, professionals, they should read this particular draft and should give their feedback, their comment, that whether all these things are good or not. So right now it is not final version, it has not been implemented, it is just a pre-draft, okay, in a very evolutionary early stages it is there. Now first of all, this particular new syllabus that they have come out with, fine, this new framework of curriculum, it will be for age group 3 to 18 years, 3 to 18 years, okay. Now this particular pre-draft, what are the main highlights of this? Let's see them one by one. Number one, it is said that it is deeply rooted in India. So India has Guru Shishya Parampara. India has rich tradition of learning. We had Gurukuls, okay. We had, I'd already told you, Guru Shishya Parampara. So we want to borrow from our roots. We want to Indianize the education system. So they have said this particular thing, that we want to make students acquainted with the true sources of knowledge. We wanted them that they should know the philosophical wisdom contained in that is contained into the Vedas, Upanishads, etc. All such kind of things. Okay. Now, what has happened in this particular direction? First of all, this NCF, it provides that knowledge should be acquired through 6 pramans. Knowledge should be acquired through 6 pramans. 6 modes needs to be there by which the knowledge is to be acquired. Number 1 is pratyaksh. Knowledge by perceiving something. Okay, so we have 5 senses. Okay, we have touch, we have eyesight, we have hearing. So we have 5 senses, and through sense organ we perceive something, and by perceiving we get some information. Okay, so pratyaksh, we will get information, we should learn, we should acquire knowledge through direct perception of the things. Fine, direct perception of things. Then there is anuman. What is anuman? Anuman is using inference to come to the new conclusions. Many number of times you cannot directly see something. Okay, so we need to also learn, or we also need to get knowledge by inferences. Okay, then next is upaman. Knowing through analogy and comparison. Fine. Then there is arthpatti. Arthpatti is knowing through circumstantial implication. If circumstance is this, then the implication have been something related to this particular circumstance. Okay, so for example, if you find muddy water in the street, why muddy water? Because this is the circumstance. Okay, if muddy water in the street, why? Because there could have been rain. Then anuplabdhi, that is a perception of non-existence. Okay, perception of non-existence. Absence, learning, perception of absence. Shabd, that is directly knowing, that is knowing through the knowledge of other people, knowledge of experts. Okay, this is the 5 pramans through which we need to learn. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that understand this particular thing. You don't need to be bothered too much here. Why? Because these are the core philosophical concepts. Contained in Indian philosophy. Okay, so don't worry that you need to go too much in detail in this. Moreover, it is just a pre-draft right now. Fine. Then further, this pre-draft also talks about that we need to develop the moral values in the children also, because ethics and morals are the most important thing. Government is recognizing it at every place. It has been said that we need to develop moral values in the children through the balanced diet, through traditional games, yoga. Fine. Telling them stories from our heritage, our culture, songs, many number of times. Now, not these modern songs, but there have been the songs in our spiritual tradition which contains a lot of meaning. Fine, songs, poems, dohas, fine, lullabies, poems, prayers, all these things. Okay, so this is these are all the things that we need to focus upon. Moreover, for class 11 and 12th, the recommendation has been given for a modular board exam. Now guys, understand that at the class 12th end there is a single exam on whose basis your result will be finalized, but then there will be now they're saying for modular exam. In class 11 and 12 there will be kind of a semester kind of a system, and on the basis of your performance in each of the different semester your marks will be calculated as it happens in the colleges. So this is something guys that has been proposed here. Now final things, something will be accepted, something will be rejected, something will be added, something will be deleted, and then final version will be coming out. So this is guys all about it till this point. Now I hope you have understood it, and now moving to the next article. Representation in India's police force. Okay, we'll see this particular article with respect to the GS paper number 2, issues related to policing in India. Issues related to the policing in India, GS paper number 2. Now, first of all, guys, let me give you some of our background. So basically, what has happened? India Justice Report 2022 is released. Okay, India Justice Report 2022 is released. Now, this particular report is released by the Tata Trust, and in this particular report, they are giving the status of policing in India. What they are talking about? They are talking about that how many number of vacancies are there in the different state polices, whether they have fulfilled the sanction strength. Fine, there are certain seats that are reserved for the women, scheduled caste people, scheduled tribe communities, whether those seats are filled or not. All these data have been taken in this Tata Trust report. Now understand this particular thing, guys, that first of all, when we go in this particular report, okay, SC constables actual to reserved ratio, SC officers actual to reserved ratio, different state governments data, for example, you can see here. Okay, then ST officers actual to reserve ratio, fine, then again the data, share of women, again data. Now guys, understand this thing, that you are not required to go and track and learn every state's data for your examination. What we need to see, we need to see broad themes from this particular report which we can use in our answers. Okay, question will not come that okay, write a 15 marker answer on India Justice Report. No, these references are to be used indirectly to support our answers. So what it has talked about, number one trend that it has talked about, just a minute. Yes, so number one, what it has talked about, it had said this particular thing, that many of the state governments, fine, have quota of reservation, but none of them are fulfilling it. It says that Karnataka was the only state to meet the SC, ST and OBC class quotas. Okay, but women quota is still not met. SC, ST and OBC class quota is met only by the Karnataka. Other states have not been able to meet their SC, ST and OBC quota reservation. Fine, they have not been able to fill those seats. Moreover, this addition is also talking about that there is a wide gap between the sanctioned strength of police, okay, and the actual strength of police. Sanctioned is how many police officers need to be there by the law, and actual is how many actually are there. So there is a gap, and this gap is increasing. So earlier there was a gap of 20.3%. It means 20.3% seats were lying vacant, and this gap has increased to 22.1%. Okay, it has increased to 22.1% in 2022. So this is something wrong, because guys, if police personnel will not be adequate, then existing police officers, they will be overburdened, and as they will be overburdened, the quality of law and order will decline. Basically, if they will be overburdened, often they will not be able to treat the civilians in a better way. Okay, so all these problems will come. Then thirdly, this particular report is also talking about the women's representation in the police force. Now see, it is on the state government that if they want to reserve the seats for the women, they can do that thing. Okay, so different states have reserved different percentage of seats for women. For example, there are 6 UTs and 9 states that have a target of 33%. Fine, Bihar has 35% target for reservation. There is a 10% target for women reservation in Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Tripura. But when we talk about 33% criteria, no state has managed to meet this 33% criteria. So women seats are not properly filled. Okay, women seats which were reserved for women. So these are the 10 trends related to the policing in India as per the India Justice Report. Okay, so guys, please do use these particular datas. Moreover, there are from the past days, multiple articles have come on this particular thing. There was also an article on the humane need of a humane police force, I think in the yesterday newspaper. Okay, so these are guys all the issues with respect to it. Now we'll be moving to next article. Why is Japan circumventing sanctions on Russian oil? Okay, we'll see this particular article with respect to the GS paper number 2, International Affairs. GS paper number 2, International Affairs. Okay. Now, first of all, before going in this particular article, let me give you some background, and after understanding this particular background, we will be going as what this article is actually talking about. So basically, you might guys, you already you are knowing that right now Russia Ukraine war is going on for more than 1 year, and Western countries, they have supported Ukraine, and in this particular direction US also supports Ukraine and is asking Russia to stop the war. It holds that Russia is aggressor in this particular war, and therefore to punish Russia, many sanctions have been imposed by the USA on Russia. By this sanction, what they want to do, they want to discourage Russia. And guys, one of the sanction was brought recently. What happened? G7 countries, what happened? G7 countries, European Union, Australia, they provided that Russian oil cannot be sold for more than $60 per barrel. Now, understand this thing. Russia today supplies 10% of crude oil in the world. And when Russia is selling the oil, the money is reaching to Russia, and Russia is using that particular money for the war against the Ukraine. So in order to discourage the Russia in selling more and more oil, Russia's oil price was capped. You cannot sell the price, the oil at more than $60 per barrel. It was provided. Fine. Now guys, why to restrict the price? Why not completely ban the oil from Russia? As I've told you that Russia supplies 10% of the oil, and if ban will be imposed, then what will happen? The price of the oil in international market will go really up. Okay, because if supply is cut down, demand is same, prices will go up. So they don't want to do that thing, but just want to discourage Russia. So this is something that is happening. Now guys, the reports are coming that actually Japan is purchasing the oil from Russia at a price above the $60 per barrel price cap that was imposed. So it directly means that Japan is breaching the agreement. Japan is going against the agreement. Okay. This is something. Now, basically it is saying that Japan is not the only company. Japan is not the only country, sorry. But even there are the reports that India has also paying more than $60 per barrel to purchase the oil from Russia. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that when we talk about the Russia is offering discount, but still $60 per barrel right now is not feasible for Russia. So it is selling little bit above the price, but the countries are still finding even above the price as more affordable from the Russia, and then they are going to Russia. Fine. So this is something that has happened. Now guys, when we talk about the West, when it first imposed the price cap few months back, then at that point of a time it did not impacted the Russia too much. Now understand this particular thing. See, this word Russian Ural. What is Russian Ural? Russian Ural is the Russian crude oil. Russian crude oil. So see, when earlier the cap was imposed, at that point of a time already Russian oil or Russian Ural was selling at below $60 per barrel. Then this cap did not affect Russia too much, but now the prices are increasing. So now for Russia it is not feasible to sell at $60 per barrel. They are selling it little bit more, but still countries are finding it favorable, and they are paying more than $60 per barrel and are buying it. And one country such as Japan, whose reports have come out. Fine. So this is guys all about this particular article. I hope that you have understood it. Now moving to next article. Is the India-Bhutan relationship intact? We'll see this article with respect to the GS paper number 2, India international relation, India-Bhutan relation. Now, before going on this particular article, guys, first of all, let me tell you some of the basic information here. So basically what has happened, we have seen that the Bhutanese king has visited India. Okay. And why this visit to India? Now, first of all, guys, here we see we have India, here we have Bangladesh, here is Nepal, here is Bhutan, and here is China. Okay. Now see this thing, that basically guys, when we talk about the Bhutan is a buffer. Bhutan is a buffer between China and between the northeastern part of India. Okay. And always India and Bhutan have maintained deep relations. We have supported Bhutan economically, strategically, politically. And when we talk about the Bhutan, fine, so there was a Doklam region in Bhutan. This basically this over the Doklam region, the Bhutan and China developed the confrontation, and then India came in between, and India supported the Bhutan in the Doklam crisis against the China. So India has always been the supporter of Bhutan. But recently what has happened, Bhutan has made certain statements and they provide this particular thing that China will also play an important role in determining the boundary issues of Bhutan. China will play an important role. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that if China will become active in the Bhutan, okay, what they can do, they can get a very big dominance in the northeastern part of India. Okay, now first of all, before going in this particular article, let me tell you briefly about the India Bhutan. Fine, so just a minute. So now this particular visit of the Bhutanese Prime Minister is coming at a time when the Bhutan made that statement that I have told you, in which they say this particular thing, that China has an equal say in resolving the border dispute at Doklam. Now this Doklam territory, I already told you, was at the heart of the dispute which started in 2017 between India and China because of Bhutan. Fine, so we supported the Bhutan there. Now guys, the article is talking about this thing, that when we talk about Bhutan and India, they share a boundary of 600 kilometer. Okay, and it plays a very important role in being a buffer zone between India and China. And the relation between India and Bhutan have strengthened from time to time, and a lot of economic support has been given by India to the Bhutan. For example, India is Bhutan's biggest development partner. Fine, India is the largest source of imports for Bhutan. Fine, India is the largest importer for Bhutan. Moreover, India have also India have also developed deep relations with the Bhutan on hydroelectricity front. Many of the hydroelectricity plants have been established in Bhutan, even with the support of Indian capital, and we are purchasing electricity from Bhutan, and by that particular thing, Bhutan is getting a lot of money from India. Now guys, when we talk about the hydroelectric cooperation between India and Bhutan, even recently when the Bhutanese Bhutanese king visited India, fine, there were many hydroelectric corporations that have been discussed. Let me tell you that one by one. So guys, apart from earlier existing arrangements, India has agreed to support Bhutan's even new developmental plans. A new line of credit will be given to the Bhutan that they can use for their development. Moreover, in the hydropower sector, India and Bhutan have agreed that they will expedite the delayed projects, that is Sankosh and Punat Sangchu. So Sankosh and Punat Sangchu, okay, these are the two hydroelectric projects in Bhutan, fine, which are delayed. They will be expedited, number one. After to the Chukha. Now the Chukha is again a hydroelectric facility plant in Bhutan. So the tariff, okay, the price at which the electricity is being procured by India, those tariffs will be revised. So again a hydro electricity corporation, and then we will also be buying power from the Boschu power project in Bhutan. So we see this particular thing, that hydropower is a big area of cooperation, and more cooperation we are increasing. For example, the tariff in Chukha will be revised, fine, Sankosh and Purat Sangchu project will be expedited, Boshu power project will buy electricity from there also. Moreover, India has also agreed that India will support Bhutan for space research, skilling, startups in STEM, science, technology, engineering and mathematics education. Okay, and India will also be providing internet gateway to the Bhutan. Fine, so that the Bhutan can further leverage on 4G, 5G technologies. So India has always been supporting the Bhutan. Okay, and Bhutan always has been a very important partner for India. Now when we talk about, guys, Bhutan, it is guided by the philosophy of gross national happiness and is giving priority to their own people and all such kind of things. But Bhutan also needs to understand the sensitivities of India whenever the Bhutan will go near to China. So India's sensitivity will always be disturbed. So Bhutan should respect the long-standing India's support, that Bhutan should respect the India's support that India has always given to it, and need to take that particular thing very carefully. So this is, guys, all about the major thing. Now here I have also integrated one more editorial that was published. Fine. Now moving to next article. a very different conception of Ram Rajya. Now, guys, this article is written by Mr. Shashi Tharoor. Fine, Mr. Shashi Tharoor, who is a Congress MP. Now, the article has a little bit of a critical tone, so we'll not go too much in detail in this particular article. Okay, so what the article is talking about? So, article talks about the Gandhiji's idea of Ram Rajya. So Gandhiji had a vision of Ram Rajya. Now, what is Ram Rajya of Gandhiji? It was a perfect setup where there will be an absolute cooperation within the people, where there will be the social harmony, fraternity, disputes will not be there because people will be morally uplifted. Okay, there will be economic justice, there will be political freedom. All these things will be there in the state, which is a Ram Rajya. This was an idea of Gandhiji. Okay, now guys, but it is being said that Gandhiji's idea of Ram Rajya, which was based on cooperation, harmony, it is getting diluted with the coming of the Hindutva ideology. It is being said that Gandhiji's Ram Rajya is often said as utopian. It is said as too perfect. But when we talk about the Hindutva ideology, which is being provided by Mr. Shashi Tharoor, he says that this is based on the idea of dominance, in which who don't conform are put to their own place. So it has been said that Mahatma Gandhi has been an extraordinary leader. He was successful in carrying the non-violent movement for the independence. Okay, he was one who coined the expression satyagraha, that is path of truth, that is holding on the truth, pursuing the truth. So it has been said that Gandhiji always disliked the word passive, English word passive resistance, because according to Gandhiji, satyagraha is not just passive resistance, it is active resistance, but without the violence. Okay, so this is something which was the Gandhiji's vision, but now it is getting distorted. It is just the idea. So this is, guys, the only important substance that is contained in the article. Beyond that, nothing much important is contained, because that tends to be more politicized. Okay, now moving on. Government nod for space policy, private players set to gain. Now this article will see for prelims examination as well as for GS paper number 3 science and tech. Now guys, understand that we started coming up with the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan reforms in 2020. And since this Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan reforms, government has came out with many such developments by which private sector is being given an important role in ISRO, in the space sector. Now what has happened? Government has approved the Indian Space Policy 2023, and here private sector has been given a very important role. It has been said that ISRO will be largely focused on research and development of advanced space technology, and at the same time private player will be the ones who will be given the activities of building satellite, rocket, launch vehicle, data collection. These things will be done by private sector, and core research work will be done by ISRO. This is the main goal of the Indian Space Policy 2023. So this particular policy also provided clear roles and responsibilities of New Space India Limited, which is the PSU under the ISRO, Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Center. Fine. So their clear responsibilities and roles have also been delineated. Okay. So this is, guys, all about it. Fine. So Indian Space Policy 2023. Fine. Keep it in your mind. What it has done, it has allowed the more participation by the private sector in space exploration programs. They will be the major manufacturers. ISRO will mainly be doing the research work. Okay. Full circle for Odisha IAS officers. Full circle for Odisha IAS officer from abduction to review of transformation. Now, guys, he is Mr. R. Vinil Krishna. R. Vinil Krishna. So there is a story that what happened. So Mr. R. Vinil Krishna is a 2005 batch IAS officer, and when he was posted, okay, so when he was posted as an IAS officer in Odisha. So in Odisha there is a place, okay, just a minute. Okay, so in Odisha there is a place Swabhiman Achal. Swabhiman Achal. So he went to Swabhiman Achal in 2011. And what happened in 2011, he was abducted by the Maoist from Odisha's Swabiman Achal. And what happened then, there was a 9 day long negotiation that started between the Odisha government and the extremists. So he was abducted from Odisha in 2011. Okay, now what has happened, he has again returned to the Swabiman Achal. So the questions were asked from him that, were you afraid of coming here because you got abducted from here? But the IAS officer replied that no, I was not afraid. Rather, when I witnessed that I got abducted, when I witnessed that there is so much of lawlessness going on in this particular region, I myself took the initiative of developing this particular region, and now a lot of transformation has happened. So he said that he himself adopted the Badapada High School here and looked after it. He also had distributed 7,000 mobile phones to all the households and enabled the students to read online during the COVID-19. And he says that during his abduction in 2011, he was not harmed because people backed him. And he says that the development is the answer to the remoteness of any region, and now this particular region is a transforming. Government facilities are reaching there. Okay, people are feeling empowered. All these things are happening. So these examples, guys, can be used in GS paper number 4 ethics paper. Okay, and now taking the mains practice question for today. So today's mains practice question, it reads, what has made the India-Bhutan relationship exemplary and unique? Discuss along with the way forward needed in terms of building further trust between the two countries. This will be the GS paper number 2 10 marker question. So that is all, guys, about it. And with this, we come to an end to the today's session. Guys, if you have appreciated the session, you can hit the like button. You can leave a lovely comment, as you do most of the times. It inspires us a lot to continue this initiative. Thank you so much, guys. Now we'll be meeting tomorrow. Till then, please take care of yourself.